Okay, hello everyone. Welcome back to SFC's Food for Thought series. For those of you who are just seeing SFC for the first time, we are an advocacy group made by students and young professionals for students and young professionals who believe that Canada can have a strong future in resources, the economy, and the environment. Please connect with us on Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn at Students for Canada if you want to learn more about what we do. Today, we are hosting Mackenzie Mitchell and Kevin Krausert to discuss the Avatar program, an organization which empowers young people to continue to innovate in natural resources. Kevin is the co-founder and CEO of Avatar Innovations and has spent 20 years on the front lines of energy innovation and in numerous executive leadership and governance roles in the oil and gas industry. Leading a major corporation through the disruption of the Canadian energy industry, Kevin has been an articulate and major champion for unlocking the energy transition solutions inside oil and gas for a better future. Kevin holds a BSc from McGill University and a Master's of Business Administration from the Haskayne School of Business. Mackenzie is a 2021 graduate of Winter Avatar Ignite and an Avatar Builder for Indigenous Relations. She has spent over 12 years in energy with various service companies from corporate to field. She lives, works, and plays on the traditional territories of the Blackfoot Confederacy, which includes Siksika, Kainai, Piikani, Tsuut'ina, Stoney Nakoda Nations, and the Métis Nation Region 3 in the Treaty 7 region of Southern Alberta. She was previously the vice chair of Calgary Stampede First Nations program, a nominee for the Calgary Stampede Western Legacy Award in 2019 for sustained contribution in the Calgary community. Mackenzie was also speaker at the 2018 National Coalition of Chiefs in Vancouver, BC. She is currently enrolled and completing the Advancing Indigenous Management in the Energy Sector from the University of Victoria. I will now share the spotlight with our guests. Welcome, Kevin and Mackenzie.
Great. Well, thank you, Perry, for the kind introduction. And I can't think of a better panelist than Mackenzie. So this should be fun. And I'll open up with just, I'd say the importance of young people and students to articulate the future they want to live in and reach out and go and build it. And initiatives such as this are important initiatives to be able to do that. And just want to give you your organization a shout out and happy to do that. So here today we're going to talk about the Avatar program. As Martha Hall Finley, the Chief Climate Officer, said last week on a very public forum, if you haven't heard about Avatar yet, you will. But we've technically been around for about a year now, and it's been a pretty incredible journey as to what we did. High level, the concept of Avatar is pretty simple. It's first of all the solutions to the complex problems of climate change and energy transition must come from within the industry. If you look at any energy transition through history, using the infrastructure and the resources that are existing as we transition to a new state off emissions, we need to incorporate those. And so it's been pretty remarkable to see the energy industries pivot here and really coming to the table in pretty meaningful ways. And then secondarily, that the leaders who are going to live in the future must be the ones who build it. And so combining those two pretty simple concepts, this pretty incredible thing has been born. So high level, easy ways to understand Avatar is really through our three pillars as an organization. The first is Avatar Ignite. That is really an opportunity for hundreds of emerging professionals in the energy industry to come together and work in new ways. They get access to a 12-week journey of curriculum facilitated by the University of Calgary, as well as some of the world's most senior business leaders, to really drive twofold. One, building the leadership competencies that the future is going to require. And then secondarily, having an opportunity to actually go and ideate and build and come up with and identify challenges worth solving in the energy transition. And then they get a chance to pitch them to an executive leadership shark tank from across Canada. So the best ones of those get selected to go into the Avatar Accelerator. So this is where things start getting a little serious. So last year, of the 45 teams that were in it, 7 got selected for sponsorship. I think we can increase that number this year. But there, they get some pre-seed capital. They get access to University of Calgary labs, do some rapid prototyping. But perhaps more importantly is the sponsor company that sponsors them provides them with a mentor to help them clear hurdles inside the company so they can go and build it so that by the end of it, they've taken their great concepts in PowerPoint and turned it actually into a minimum viable product with a customer in place. And so then it gets even more serious. Then they go up against investors, venture capital investors, corporate ventures, banks. Everyone's trying to figure out what this energy transition looks like, and get some capital and turn it into a business, and it's brought to market in a faster way than never's happened before in the industry. We've been super honored to have some incredible partners coming to the table. Suncor, TCE, Cenovus, National Bank, and Spartan have just been absolutely driving this. Suncor has 40 participants in it. TCE has 40 participants in it. Suncor alone got close to 200 applications internally about joining this. And some new partners in 2022, Whitecap, one of the coolest energy companies out there, already producing net zero barrel oil, Fluor and Shaw. And then Spartan, Delta Corp, Perpetual, Enbridge, BDP, Secure Energy, Modern West, and GHD. Collectively, this represents about 60% of Canadian oil production and about 70% of Canadian mainline midstream assets. With his team has been driven by, first of all, the ridiculously hardworking executive, as well as some of the industry leaders, most senior leaders, who've been devoting their time to believing in a project like this. It's very rare you get the C-suites of a whole bunch of energy companies together and saying, how are we going to empower the leaders of tomorrow to build the future we need to live in? And then behind the scenes, doing a lot of the hard work is probably the highest performing leadership team in energy right now. Individuals who are Avatar alumni and are volunteering their time on their evenings and weekends to be able to accomplish the incredible milestones Avatar has accomplished thus far. So now we're in the Avatar Ignite phase. We launched that last Friday on a very exciting session where we had the former CEO of Virgin Galactic, some of the world's most influential thinkers on energy, and we started off to the races. So inside the Avatar Ignite program, there's sort of few key pillars that guide the participants through this journey. They have an Avatar team that they'll, 5 or 6 participants from across the industry, so multifunctional, semi-autonomous. So there'll never be, 5 people from Suncor. It's somebody from Suncor, somebody from TCE, somebody from Enbridge, so on. And then they'll get assigned an action learning project that they can pick, and then they work through that to unite their theme of what they're going to present at the end. They get these sessions with these very high-level speakers and work through curriculums, and then they get an industry coach. Some of them are ridiculously senior industry coach to help them open doors. And at the end of this incredible journey, they get to pitch it to the fearsome Shark Tank of industry executives, which is always a lot of fun watching emerging leaders in our industry go up against the C-suites, but it's a lot of fun. And then for the action learning project topics, so the real focus we have is around unlocking the solutions inside the energy industry for the energy transition. So net zero hydrocarbons products, what can we do with hydrocarbon products other than combusting them? Carbon fibers, bitumen beyond combustion, graphene, asphalt. Think about that. There's, I think, a lot of opportunity there. Transport and mobility is a huge one. Grid and power system resilience, looking at the subsurface in new ways, methane emissions, consumer energy demand. That's, I think, it's a big one, but it's a hard one. Nature-based climate solutions. How can we start looking at natural ecosystems
and natural systems as way of removing carbon dioxide from the atmosphere to not just stop the worst effects of climate change, but actually reverse them. Climate adaptation solutions, and carbon storage utilization, and carbon capture and carbon removal. So all emerging technology areas, all billion-dollar plus market potential for each sector, and all requiring some breakthrough technologies. So here's the sort of overview of the curriculum. We start off with big macro threads. Indigenous reconciliation is a cornerstone value of Avatars. So the second session, we really frame that out. The reason that's important is, first of all, to succeed in energy projects of the future, we are going to have to look at doing business in new ways. And the reality is, we've got partners that we've made deals with in this country. And how can we include them in new ways to bring not just new knowledge to the table, but start moving forward as a real country. And so that's why Indigenous reconciliation is next. Then they get walked through energy entrepreneurship, sustainable finance, technology, public policy, and then sort of close with a leadership perspective before they have their chance to pitch. And as I mentioned, some of the world's most influential leaders, Gajan Kandia, the CEO of Hitachi Vantara, running about a $60 billion company, really phenomenal guy. Vanessa Branson, Richard Branson's sister, essentially the co-founder of Virgin. Nandita Parshad, the head of the European Bank for Reconstruction and Development, about 180 billion euro fund out of Europe trying to fund the energy transition. There's some incredible leaders who all stood up and said, we need to build this future. Let's go empower people to be able to do it. Entrepreneurial mind, and again, this has all been cultivated to define and build the competencies that we think the future energy leader of the future needs to acquire. Entrepreneurial mindset, managing complexity, creative problem solving, adaptability and resilience, high performance teamwork, change leadership, and stakeholder sensitivity. These are the skill sets that are going to be required for success in the future. And these are the skill sets we're building at Avatar. And as I mentioned, Indigenous reconciliation is a core value that will work through the program of how we look at projects in new ways, how we have Indigenous-led projects, and how can we have true partnerships in this. And I'm sure Mac will talk more eloquently about it than me. And just in kind of closing, here's the Avatar ecosystem. We start off in Avatar Ignite. Hundreds of young professionals come together, throw spaghetti at the wall, see which strands stick. The best of those strands, we pull off, buy it with industry, put it into Avatar Accelerator, give it a little bit of seed capital and some rocket fuel, and see where we can go. And then by the end, we've got a technology that we can invest and scale. So our goal for this is to bring new technologies to market faster than they ever have before, build the leaders that the future is going to require, and put the energy industry back in the driver's seat of the energy transition.